Let's talk about something cheerful then. We could years. We could go to something more cheerful.
Let's talk about pagers in Lebanon.
Let's talk about pagers in Lebanon.
No.
Oh, we're gonna talk about the pagers.
I thought you were gonna cheer me up from the sad documentary.
We don't have to go there right now.
So Kyle is on team. This is fucking cool. Like, what an amazing way to conduct a war. Taylor is on. Look, a lot of these victims could be innocent people. It's indiscriminate bombing and grocery stores.
Not
and shit
could be
like that.
R at this point. Yeah.
Yes, and well, it could be and R can both be true.
I think I'm on the side of it setting a new precedent of fucking terror.
But wait, I just want to finish my thought.
Yes,
I have moved from Kyle's side to Taylor's side. At first, I was all about, like, I guess espionage, subterfuge, and just like what a amazing act of sort of intelligence that they pulled off to like get pagers on their way to hopefully bad guys and put explosives in them, and then as they're wearing them later on send a page and 2,000 explosions go off at once. I was like, that's cool. And I still do think that there is an element of cool in it. But
it's soaked in cool.
There's an undeniable bit of cool to it.
The thing is, let's say that these Hamas people were living in Israel, right? And they were shopping at Israeli grocery stores and malls and whatever. Would they have employed that same tactic? No. I think the answer is no. I think they consider those browner lives to be worth a lot less. And if a couple kids lose their vision, you know what? This is the price that we all have to pay. And they definitely employ tactics they wouldn't employ if it was their own people, their own innocents.
I think they're fighting for their own people. So, obviously there's a border there. 100,000 Israelis are displaced. 100,000. The population of St. Louis is what, like 300,000?
Well, that's the city proper. Nobody lives there.
Imagine that 100,000 people are displaced from their homes because Hezbollah keeps rocketing that side of the border. They're in a war with a state-sponsored, by our definition, terrorist organization whose main mission, it's crazy that these people put it in like their charter. Because I don't know, we've got some words here. It's like, live free and die, for all mankind. Theirs is always death to Israel. They're like mantra, their motto. It's right in, they chant it. And I don't mean like the guys in the street that the CNN might find, like the leadership does. This was 3,000 or 4,000 devices that went straight. It didn't just go to anybody and everybody. It was upper echelon Hezbollah members. These are your block captains who all got a pager so we can stay in contact. And they managed to put a couple ounces of C4 in them bitches and then send them all a little message that says, look at this. And they are all maimed. They're blinded. Their hands are blown off and there's chunks taken out of their sides. And there was definitely some collateral damage along the way.
There are tons of people who are innocent who are hurt from it. Yeah.
Tons.
They're reporting hundreds of people and
tons
children.
Of them?
One child died. That's
hundreds of people.
A lot of lives.
Yes.
Tons,
and like the idea that all of
4,000 pounds, I bet 4,000.
2,000.
They're children though, Woody. They weigh less. What's a ton of children?
Okay. I mean, they that's like there were a lot of the people maimed who weren't Hezbollah affiliated, seemingly were hospital officials because they used pagers.
Yeah.
What do you mean that? No.
Yeah.
Do you know? How did a hospital administrator get a Hezbollah upper echelon for block captains?
Because not all of them were just sent to Hezbollah. Clearly,
that's not
some
true.
people
that's made up stuff.
Dude, that's the part, Kyle. Like, it takes a lot of intelligence to make sure you only get the right pagers. Like,
they had their own order of pagers. They wanted encrypted pagers. It's funny. They're going down the line now trying to find out where the pagers came from. The company whose like brand is on them are like, we don't make pagers. We like license pagers to be made. And so they go to like the street where the manufacturer is listed and there's somebody outside and they're like, yeah, nobody works in there. That's an empty building. And they're like, well, shit, where'd they come from? Right? Like they don't even know exactly where the pagers
but no, Woody's point of like
what they didn't do is make every pager in Lebanon a bomb and just scatter them about. There was a shipment of pagers to the bad guys. The bad guys were like, you got the goods? Yeah. 3,000 encrypted pagers, just like you wanted, bad guy. And he went, good, I'll take it back to my bad guy boss. And he'll tell me how to distribute them.
Do you think this is a movie?
Of bad guys. Yet Do you see what just happened with all the bad guys exploding?
Do you notice? Hundreds of innocent people were harmed and children died.
Absolutely not.
I think we have different news feeds.
I think like the idea that you think this went to the Hezbollah hideout like they're fucking Skeletor, and they it all blew up in the hideout as they were wringing their hands.
You think they scattered them about and they just happened to blow up 3,000?
Where do people have pagers? They have them in grocery stores, in line at the mall, in hospitals,
what are you talking
at their
about?
apartment building, at their hotel.
You got to explain what you're even talking about. What do you have them?
Where do people wear pagers?
I think you're being.
I genuinely don't understand what you're saying right now.
What if someone's standing here and they have a pager on their hip and there's a child beside them?
The kid's fine.
We don't have to ask questions.
The video.
That just happened.
Yeah, the kid was fine. I watched it happen in the grocery store. The guy blew up. The guy next to him was fine. Then I saw a late
goose.
Actually, Kyle, hold on. I think I've seen the same video, but wait a second. I want to talk about it. I think I've seen the same video, and had that pager gone off like seconds before or after, another person would have been hurt. Someone had walked by right in the blast zone, and just through good luck, the pager only blew up when only the pager's owner was within, I'll say it's like a 3 feet radius.
Sure.
Kyle, you agree with that roughly?
I saw that clip.
Maybe. What about the radios?
But seconds on either side of that, people were right there.
Yeah,
they blew more up.
Woody is right. And what I was saying is that when you have thousands of people going around with pagers, those people aren't in a bad guy hideout like you so sillily believe that they're just they're sitting there around a big evil table in your mind, coming up with machinations.
I feel like your audio is cutting out, and the important part is getting left out. But it's actually just you pretending like something's happening when it's not. So again, what happened was
no, he's fucking with you, bro.
Your audio was okay, Taylor.
No. Your audio's fine, but the amount of information that's getting across is about like your audio's cutting out.
Now I'm losing his audio.
I need you to explain
for real this time. Like he's actually coming out and his video's frozen.
Kyle, seriously, if you could just make like 10 seconds, your audio did cut out and your video froze.
Okay. Am I now? 1, 2, 3.
Your video's frozen right now, but I hear your audio as you asked.
Lame.
Yes. Okay, so while you're waiting for that to come back, I'll make my point. So you actually put forth this idea that all of these are going to like a bunch of bad guys sitting around a table in a bad guy hideout, when the reality is people take pagers day to day everywhere. And so even
what does that mean? What are you talking about?
People have pagers on their hip. Even if they are all Hezbollah, even if 100% of them were Hezbollah, those people are in cars driving. They're in line at the grocery store. Some of them have kids nearby. They're in hospitals. They could burn down apartment buildings, houses, hotels.
You almost made your point. Let me.
I'm making the point. You just aren't getting it. And so when you indiscriminately, despite where these people are, blow them all up, you get a
like
huge
you don't
amount of
what you're saying. So what Taylor's trying to say, everybody, is that all people wearing the pagers were terrorists and bad people and evil, and their stated goal was to destroy one of our allies.
Purportedly,
the Gulf Arab nations and every other group in the world that isn't Iran, North Korea, and the evil axis has declared them a terrorist organization. Those guys were wearing bombs that Israel sent them. And whoopsie daisy, innocents might be around them as they go about their day-to-day terror lives.
Yes, I think I made that clear from the start.
My God, not even close. You didn't want to say it.
I was trying to go through and say that. What about what I said is like controversial that I wouldn't want to say? That strapping bombs to people in public and blowing them up is going to have collateral damage, which it does.
They're used to that over there. First of all, they love doing that shit.
That's why I don't want to be involved in the Middle East, because it's just a bunch of different groups committing terror attacks against each other. Why the fuck do we have to do anything over there?
Let's not get emotional, Taylor. Okay, we're trying to have a civil discussion here about a geopolitical event. You seem to be getting a little emotional about things. I'm just trying to say that the bad guys got bombs sent to them, and your main concern is there might be a not so bad guy near them who gets affected.
No,
and you're also
despite the incredible an innocent child, and not just a not bad guy, an innocent child might have their.
How do you know it was an innocent child? They use child soldiers over there. You know what ISIS does? They'll send a 7-year-old boy into a shoot house with a Kurd tied up in the back as a live kill target.
See, I think the principal difference is
I got a video of it.
I'm ready and willing to say that like Hezbollah are bad guys and I don't like them, but a lot of these people in Lebanon getting the kids getting blown up, innocents in hospitals getting blown up because they were near someone, that's beyond the pale. That's not cool. That's not okay.
Like World War II or Vietnam or Iraq or every war that gets fought ever since beginning of time. Those are the people who pay the price. That's why you don't do war.
Yeah, war's pretty terrible.
It is.
This
they should leave Israel alone.
This escalates it towards a war with Iran.
It isn't. They're in a
they are in a war with Iran.
Yeah.
And
they're striking today.
The hotter
Didn't the
this
Iranian
war
guy
gets,
get hit with a pager? Kyle, you told me that. Is it turned out to be true?
the more likely we are to have to join.
The ambassador from Iran got blown up. Like the ambassador for Iran had a Hezbollah. That's how you know that they didn't just scatter explosive pagers about and hope they went to bad guys. From the top to the bottom, these guys had these pagers. The ambassador from Iran to Lebanon had one of these explosive pagers. He's maimed today. All right, and Israel's been taking these guys out left and right with bombs.
I believe there is an agent from Israel embedded in Hamas,
of course,
who convinced them that everybody needs new pagers. You know what? The pagers we have now, they're not secure.
Oh, well,
we need to get 2,000. Do you know something I don't know?
Yeah. So very recently, the leadership of Hezbollah had said the Israelis have cracked our cell phones. They are using our cell phones to guide their missiles. No more cell phones. They've cracked cell phone encryption. We're done with cell phones. No more Slack. No more WhatsApp. It don't work against Israel. Pagers. And I almost want to believe that what it was Israel leaked it to them that they had cracked their phones so they would order pagers because they already had this shipment of pagers cooked up. Look, I don't like that kids got blown up, just so we're clear. That's awful. That's one of the things I hate about the whole post-October 7th Israeli response in Palestine is all them goddamn dead kids who didn't deserve to be cooked alive. I've seen horrific things and I hate seeing it. But I can't think of a way to do this with less collateral damage than 2-ounce bombs that you put on the bad guy. Okay, like when are you ever going? If you shot him with a bullet, the bullet's coming out the back and going somewhere. I can't think of a safer way to do this with less collateral damage than this. And the fact that they're like, yeah, but that one kid, that's awful.
What I like
about is a generation of blind kids.
What I really don't like is the precedent that it sets.
Mm-hmm.
And that now we're not worried about drones anymore, which are already fucking scary. Now, if China doesn't like us, if they don't fucking like us, or someone, if we go to some kind of war, then your electronic devices now in unison with malware, cyber warfare is now not just nebulous. It's real. It's actually real, and it can blow holes in you and accidentally maim children.
And that's scary to a country that outsourced all of their manufacturing.
That is the
I don't
biggest...
like the way that Israel so indiscriminately kills. I can't remember another first world nation who just doesn't give one fuck about innocent people. When we went into Iraq, when we went into Afghanistan, we were at least trying to get the bad guys. If good ones got hurt too, it was something we regretted, right?
It was
in
a problem,
Israel,
especially in Afghanistan.
It's not a bug, it's a feature. They fucking love it. But there is a terrible military planner in me that's these guys have been reduced to smoke signals at this point. They don't trust their phones. They don't trust their pagers. They don't trust their walkie-talkies. We haven't mentioned that yet, but that's the next thing they passed around.
Hell yeah.
Right? These guys are going to be smoke cymbals and fucking drums to communicate their messages.
They used pigeons in Afghanistan.
I didn't know that. And I'm like, man, you talk about crippling the enemy. It's a lot more than the 9 kills.
Yeah, it's incredible what they've done. There's been movies that did similar things. The Kingsman, if you remember, there was that whole thing where everyone's cell phone had been turned into an actual bomb that blew their heads off or whatever, something like that. It's incredibly impressive what they did. It shows that they are reading these guys' fucking dirty underwear. They know everything there is to know about the organization. They're airstriking today. They're hitting targets in southern Lebanon, which is right above northern Israel, I guess, or the northern part of Israel.
I feel like Woody hit the nail on the head with clearly from what we've seen, the way they've waged this war against Hamas and now Hezbollah, it is not a bug, it's a feature. They really don't mind innocent people dying, but in droves.
Yeah, I don't think they mind in Palestine. I would argue that they're being very accurate right now in southern Lebanon with laser-guided munitions taking out single houses. And I would argue that there has never been a smarter, more accurate bomb than the one that you strap to your enemy, you know, and that's what these pagers are. We've got that missile that has the blades. I always forget what it's called, but we've got that badass missile with the blades, and they're like, it can kill the passenger and leave the driver alive in a car. I'm like, wow, that's incredible. What a great feature. This would kill the guy in the back seat and not hurt the driver too. These are little pops. It's that they're on you.
I get you, but I'm picturing my own cell phone.
Yeah.
Odds are it's going to blow up in my pocket. I'm the guy who holds it the most. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say Jackie and Colin are safe. One, they could be very close to me.
Not your phone,
or
though.
Two, they could be using it.
They didn't put it in his day-to-day family phone, though, right? They put it in his terror pager that only gets pages from the terror cell. It would be more like your secret bat phone.
Yeah.
You know, it's
right. That they had them on them in public around innocents, and then they indiscriminately set them all off.
I didn't see any innocent people get hurt. Look, I saw two different people. I saw two videos.
Interesting news.
I saw two videos of people exploding, and three, actually. I saw 3 videos of people exploding, and no one around them was injured. Everybody was spooked a little. You know?
Checkmate, Taylor. 3 out of 2.
I just don't know. You make it sound
I guess
like
all these reports out of Lebanon are just
report?
Fibs.
I would love a link, or I would love you to at least describe the
Lebanon
report to me.
Was it
in
Lebanon they went
Lebanon,
to?
like lots of people who are not Hezbollah affiliated have been harmed.
In what way?
By being close to people with bombs on them.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
I don't believe you. I'm going to need a report.
And the walkie-talkies blew up too,
I linked you the one of the 8-year-old girl who died.
She was holding it. She was bringing it to her dad.
Then there was a little boy, I think a 9-year-old boy, and then a 10-year-old child.
Story. I'm going to need a link for that one.
Couldn't need a link, brother.
I've heard about it.
I saw the kid that died, and the kid was holding the pager. That's horrific. Must be terrible. I wonder if the dad will remain in his terrorist position there with Hezbollah now that his child has paid the price.
It's probably going to be some fucking lunatic terrorist now.
Oh, no, we do something real bad now, like shoot missiles into our homes every day.
The walkie-talkie's got 20 kills instead of 9.
The
walkie-talkie.
Yeah, maybe because they're bigger, or maybe because they're next to heads. I don't know.
Yeah, probably heads. Because it's like they don't have pagers, they can't use cell phones, they'll get triangulated. So now they have their walkie-talkies, and they're just like fucking talking to each other. You guys doing all right over there? And then you hear doom, 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 doom.
And what I'm trying to make a distinction here, Taylor, between what would definitely happen in that some kids would pick them up or be handed them or be operating them, and they would be maimed, killed, everything above. But what I don't think is very likely anyway is that the person in the car with you, the person standing next to you in line, is going to be injured in any kind of a meaningful way that you wouldn't treat with a home first aid kit. It's shooting bits of plastic and metal at you real hard, and it goes in you, and it sucks. If you're 3 to 5 feet away or something like that. But I saw those pops. Those people went, ooh, and like ran away.
I mean, did you see the videos of like the people in the hospital with like their faces
the people who are wearing them and operating them.
Yeah.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
An explosion on that terrorist doesn't like just magically not affect a person standing next to him in public at the grocery store or in the car.
It does though. So it's got
doesn't seem to.
It did though. Like again, we're back to that thing where
we should go back to fighting with swords.
You can't find me the example of the guy 5 feet away who was maimed terribly
at the grocery store. I think he was by produce, right? And that explosion was big enough that like I've stood next to people looking at produce close enough to be hurt. Thankfully, in the video I saw, nobody was that close. But you do it 2,000 times and somebody will be, and people were.
It doesn't look like it to me because I think you need to be hanging on to that bomb for it to really fuck you up in a severe way. I think if you're 3 to 5 feet away from 2 ounces of C4, you're fine. Not fine. But you're not dead. You're not maimed.
We can definitely all agree that the only people having this conversation about the logistics of whether or not innocent people will be harmed are us and not the people actually making the pagers.
Yeah. Dude, imagine the party right now. Imagine the party at Israeli headquarters. High five.
Yeah.
They're doing the chair thing.
Yo, slow-mo, come out. la la la. They got Shlomo, the pager maker, up on that chair right now. He's wearing a crown. He's got a robe on, like he's doing that, like the traditional king thing where you got the scepter and like the robe with the little checkers on it. Like
somebody smashing on a wine glass for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, they're stepping on fucking champagne flutes. Bibi Netanyahu is giving him the fucking Star of David or whatever their highest medal is
for honor.
I don't know, but I choose to believe
it has to be the Star of David. What else would it be?
I would take it back if I were them. That would be our greatest honor, the Star of David. Here you go, a black card. It's a black credit card, no limit. No, I think we more or less agree, but like what's flavoring or tainting your opinion just a little bit is your isolation. No, Taylor, is your is how much you hate us being potentially involved, how much you dislike Israel for taking all